We all had that one hero that drew us to Paragon. For me, it was Murdock. I loved his kit, I loved his design, and I had a blast playing through all the different iterations of Murdock that Epic have thrown at us, and this one is no different. The recent rework to Murdock really took me by surprise. Sure, he was considered the weakest carry after Grim for a point, but that's how things go, right? That's balance. Carries will come in and out of the meta, and soon it will be Murdock's time to shine. Or is it here already? The build I use for Murdock at the moment is as follows, but after I go over the build, I'll also be talking about another variation of the build that I think you should try too. Also, I'd like to point out for those of you that keep asking why I'm smurfing against gold players, well, the answer is I'm not. This account is also diamond, I just like to keep my main for offlane only. I start with the Archmagus as my prime card since I usually have a phase support. I don't think I need the Warlord for extra attack speed, but you might think otherwise. Either way, the Archmagus and the Warlord are both great picks here. I grab a health potion and a double strike token next. We use mad stones in our build, but you may have spare points and so the strike tokens come in handy here. Next we start with 3 mad stone gems, all of them filled with 3 minor strikes or casts. We then have our dummy ward, but if I'm up against a Kalari, I'll usually just start with this card. I think it's okay to start with wards, especially if you have phase support. I then have 2 impact hammers. The first has 2 casts and a major wound, while the second has 2 major wounds and a major cast. I really like running my carry with wards at the moment, so I have a Sage's ward with 3 minor casts. Blinkshot is next with 3 major casts. I like to put my more expensive cards on Blinkshot because you don't get any upgrade bonus, so you want to use your cheaper upgrades on cards that do provide that upgrade bonus so you can get that bonus earlier. Hemorrhage is next with a Drain and Lesser Drain. Hemorrhage is one of the newly reworked cards in Paragon and it's incredibly strong on carries like Murdock and Sparrow. The active says Berserk. For 6 seconds gain 44 attack speed and plus 80 movement speed, but take an additional 15% damage. I'll talk more about why I chose this card in the guide section. Our final card is a Blade of Agora for that crit bonus with 3 minor casts. Now there's one card which isn't included in this particular deck, but the full build is down below containing this card, and that is Stasis Gem. Stasis Gem is a fantastic card that I find extremely useful against bursty teams. It's a great counter to heroes with ultimates like Sevarog, Kwang, Countess and Morogesh, so having the option to use this particular deck when you're up against a team with heroes like the ones I've just listed could prove extremely useful. The build order is pretty straightforward with the ability to adapt it where you see fit. I'll place my dummy ward and back for my health potion and madstone gem if I don't think I'll need my wards. I'll then work on maxing out my 3 madstone gems followed by my sage's ward. However, get the wards as early as you need them. If you're getting ganked a lot, just pick them up earlier. I then like to grab Blinkshot here once I hit 26 CP. I think this is the perfect time to be picking up your blink item. If I'm ahead, I'll take Hemorrhage. I don't know, I just really like this card at the moment and I think it offers great value, especially if you have a phase support, but more on that later. You can always skip it and go straight for your impact hammers. Ideally you want to buy your 10 cost impact hammer before your 12 cost impact hammer. Once you've bought your impact hammers, you can buy your Blade of Agora, max that out for your crit bonus, pile on some more damage into your Blinkshot and fill up your Hemorrhage for lifesteal. Now there's a couple of things I want to talk about when it comes to the new Murdock, but firstly let's talk about farming. As a carry you want to farm as efficiently as possible while also being safe and depriving the enemy offlaner of any CP or XP. To do this you can freeze the lane in your favour. What you want to do is aggro the minions by the enemy tower, pull them towards the right edge of the map until they meet your minions. Your ranged minion will die but theirs will live, and now 2 of the enemy's ranged minions will be pushing towards your tower where you can safely farm. To maintain the freeze, all you have to do is last hit and kill the ranged minions once the enemy's waves become too big. The great thing about being able to freeze is that it gives your carry a safe place to farm. If you can freeze the wave by your tier 2 like I did here, you can sit and get free farm. Of course if the situation doesn't call for it, don't just sit and farm, but I'm just showing you an example. I think I farm here for 3 minutes straight, all while keeping the wave by my tier 2 tower. The great thing about Murdock's new kit is that he actually does remind me of the police. He's chasing after criminals, or in this case enemies, and his new kit allows you to actually secure kills. What I noticed from Limp, the carry player for TO was that he would always wait for Murdock's passive shots fired and then constantly use it to poke. So he'd last hit minions, and then once shots fired was off cooldown, he'd look to hit me as the offlaner. If you're unfamiliar with shots fired, the ability says every 10 seconds Murdock's next basic attack has 1700 range and 15 basic pen, and as you level, this pen increases and the cooldown reduces. The next ability is Hot Pursuit, and man have I come to love this ability, especially with my new favorite card, Hemorrhage. Firstly, Hot Pursuit gives you a movement speed buff when moving towards a visible critically wounded target within a certain range. The speed buff also stacks with Hemorrhage. Along with the attack speed you get from the card, you'll definitely be able to finish off any low targets that might have otherwise escaped. Hemorrhage is a great card. You're probably sick of hearing me talk about it, but let me tell you why I and probably a lot of other players love this card. Firstly, it allows me to build no attack speed. Yep, I don't build any attack speed on Murdock, but now I have attack speed for those important team fights, as well as movement speed to help me either reposition or catch up to enemies. The price you pay for Hemorrhage could be considered quite hefty if it wasn't for phase, especially if you're picking this card up in the early to mid stages of the game before you build any real lifesteal. Thanks to phase, however, her extra healing gives you great sustain, even if you're taking a lot of damage, and with your phase picking up cards like Cast Converter and Quenching Scales, you should have no trouble killing the enemy before they kill you. When it comes to maxing abilities, you want to max Murdock's Buckshot, then Shots Fired, and then Hot Pursuit. I probably don't need to say much more about Murdock. I covered him quite extensively in my previous guides, and most of that still applies regardless of his kit, so definitely check that out if you're looking for more of an in-depth guide to Murdock. This video was more so you guys can see my build for him. I hope you enjoyed this shorter building guide. Let me know which hero you'd like to see next. Since I'm an offlane main, I was thinking maybe Steel. Smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed, subscribe for all the latest Paragon content, and until next time guys, peace.